Hey guys, welcome back. Today I want to talk about basically overwintering your peppers. How you would go about taking an outside pepper and bringing it inside for the winter and having the best success at it surviving. Many people will say that peppers will produce a ton more the following year. So on to the first step. So guys, step one is to get all the peppers off of there. You can do that many ways, because you're also going to want to cut all these branches back and all this greenery back. So what I'm going to do is I've got my pruners. We're just going to cut branches back to start, just because it's easier than trying to pick through this mess and find the peppers. So when you take off that greenery, you can look for your peppers. If there is none, just throw it to the side. So step one is literally just to prune it all back. Until we get close to the bottom, it's pretty straightforward. Most of this pepper plant is going to be gone once you've pruned it back. I've already gotten some of the peppers off because I was picking through it, and then I thought, man, that's just a big hassle. We'll keep some of these babies. Ugh. Now ideally you would do this before a first frost has hit. We may have lost these plants just because of that. We'll find out. These have been some of my best producers this year, are these serranos. So it is really sad to be cutting them out now. Granted, it was going to happen. They aren't going to survive the winter. It's still sad. Got our tomatoes that came off the plant when we were doing all the pruning. Thought I did. As I threw it, I saw the pepper. out. Get these last couple pieces coming off of it. One more here. Cut off. So we're going to see what we got going on. So, you want to get all these leaves off. You're literally pruning it back to nothing. Like, you're not leaving any of the leaves. Prune it all the way back and leave it down to its last little fork, basically, the Y. Once you're down to that last Y, you're ready to dig it up. So now, there are a couple leaves still to get off of there. I could probably bring it back more. I'm leaving mine about where it is. And you're going to dig this up and really clean those roots. You don't want to leave all that dirt that's on these roots because it could bring pests in. And you can transplant that then into some clean soil, not garden soil. And put it under a light. You don't have to have it under excessive light, only a couple hours if you're just trying to overwinter it. You can trim back all the green leaves as it brings them out if you're overwintering it. Or you can let it grow inside and you can try to get peppers all year. Up to you. But this is ready to get transplanted now. Step 2 or step 3 technically, after you've pruned back your pepper plants, you're going to get them out by the roots. Get as much of the roots as you can. This one, you can see, it's got some pretty massive roots. We've also got some other weeds in there. And then you want to get this dirt off. You don't want to bring all this dirt into your house. That was actually weeds. Because that could have bugs in it. So this one is a jalapeno. So what you're going to do is you can use a hose, or I'm using a bucket of water. And I'm just dipping it in there and swirling it around to help loosen that dirt off the root ball. It's going to take a little bit of work. If you need to, you can use your fingers and kind of loosen it up too. Kind of work it out of some of the crevices. Main reason because that dirt could have bugs on it from outside. You don't want to bring bugs or eggs, 2 bugs into your house that can possibly just ravage your house or your new seedlings when you start them. So you want to get rid of that risk. Another reason why you're not using the dirt from the garden, you're using fresh potting soil from the store in your pots. So once it's cleaned off good, you've gotten basically all the remnants off of it, any risk of anything. You could also add a little bit of soap in there just to help eliminate that risk. I didn't. You're going to put some fresh potting soil at the bottom of the pot. If you need to, you can trim these roots back a little bit. This is fine as is. So you're going to put that in. And then once it's in, you're going to go ahead and put in some new dirt. Now, like I said, these did go through some frost, so we may have lost them. We're not going to know that right away. We'll see what happens. Now, you could keep the leaves trimmed off of it, through its entirety of the winter, just to help keep it alive, ready to go out when spring hits. Or you can let the leaves come back and try to get peppers through the winter. I am going to go for the latter and see if we can get some peppers through the winter. Why not? But if they're not producing heavily, they're not producing well, then I'll just trim them back and just keep them alive to put out in the spring. And not strain the plant. Cheetos. Cheetos. So, make sure you've got big enough pots. Some of my pots are probably not going to be big enough. It's just going to be a trial and error because I got what I got. But I got a serrano I already planted, a jalapeno I planted. We still have the habaneros and the sweet peppers. Yeah, I pulled in 2 of each basically, so it's more than I meant to pull in. So we'll see what we got here. I kind of thought, well, if I plant them all, then if a couple don't make it, it's not a big deal. But what if they all make it? So we're going to go ahead and finish planting those in. But that's how you would overwinter them if you're going to bring them in from the ground. If they're already in pots outside, you still want to transplant them into new pots to eliminate that risk of bugs. You don't want to bring bugs in. So you're going to want to rinse the root ball. You're going to want to put them into the potting soil. Now, if you're just overwintering them, they need very little light, maybe 3 hours a day, and very little water. Just keep it moist so it's got water. Now, if you're letting it get peppers, you're going to give it the normal hours of light, and you're also going to still water it regularly. Since these are going to go into a shock period right now with this transplant, I'm just going to give them very little light, keep them moist, and let them get through the shock before I introduce them to like normal light again. Because this is definitely going to shock their system. But it's how you would do it. Hope this taught you a little something. Be kind. You don't know what anyone is going through. We'll catch you on the next one.